Hey guys, Denise with Lazy K Mountain Homestead. Well, I know it's been a while since I posted a video. Life has happened, and I'm not going to go into details, but we've had some things that just happen with everyday life. People have passed away, illness, things like that. So you kind of, well, for me, I'm not a content creator that can just continue to make videos when other things are going on. So I apologize for that. I know some people can, and kudos to them, but I don't know, maybe it's just my generation or who I am. But I can't. But anyway, let me get started here. Everything's good now. I was telling the lady at the co-op today, I hope that today is a better week because the last 6 weeks has been crazy. If you hear chicks in the background, I have got new chicks born today in the incubator. And I've got a puppy over here. I need to make sure that she is not trying to get up there on the table. So if you see me looking like behind the camera, that's what I'm trying to do, is keep track of all this. They're safe though. She's just very inquisitive, and it's almost time for her to go to bed anyway. It is evening, and I'm going to be making for my grandchildren who live all over the United States some large Easter eggs, and I'm going to get them in the mail tomorrow so they can get there by Saturday, hopefully. So that's something that I always made for my kids, but it was something that was some ladies at church made them when I was a young girl, and we used to buy them for $1, and they'd be about this big, maybe bigger, and they come in their really cute little packages. So let me get started. This recipe is really easy. This is what I'm going to show you is the base recipe, and you can just kind of go from there. Your imagination is to the sky in this. For me, it was anyway. I have made peanut butter. It's a buttercream recipe, but not like a frosting. It's a filling. Like if you were to buy Russell Stover's or Whitman's chocolates or any kind of chocolates to give somebody, this is the kind of buttercream that's in there. So like I said, you can just do whatever you want to do. I've made orange, chocolate, coconut cream, vanilla, raspberry, cherry with chopped up maraschino cherries in that, maple. You can even put chopped up pecans or walnuts or whatever you want in it. It's, like I said, your imagination will just let it run wild with this recipe. And then I dip it in a really good quality dipping chocolate. And what I'm using, and this is, I made these a few weeks ago when we had some of Willis's grandkids over. They're Ghirardelli, I think that's how you say it. Chocolate melting wafers. And this really tastes good. I mix the dark and the milk chocolate. And then I also use the white candy melts by Wilton. Wilton is a really good quality baking company. They make pans and everything. And I really like the quality of that. And then I also used sprinkles. These are Easter color sprinkles. Let's see if you can see all different pastel colors. So I thought that was really pretty too. So, when we get to the decorating part, I'll show you what to do. But right now we're just going to put together the buttercream. And this is going to be an orange buttercream. So I will be using some food coloring for that to make it a nice orange. And what you do is you make this, and then you put it in the fridge for a little bit so you can get it to the point where you can mold it into your eggs. And you don't have to just make big eggs. You can make small eggs too. I did that too a couple weeks ago. So what you're going to need is 1 stick or 1/2 cup of butter. And let me go ahead and put this down so you can see what I'm doing here. Hopefully it'll stay. There we go. I'm using my new Pampered Chef mixture that I got when I had a party. I really like it. I'm getting used to it. It's not like my KitchenAid. It's computerized. So it's been a learning experience for me because it wasn't just like you plug it in and you use it. This is all computerized, so I had to kind of use my brain. So if any of you guys have one and know any tips or tricks about these Pampered Chef mixers, please comment in the comments. I would love that. So what we're going to do first is we are going to go ahead and cream this butter by itself. And I have to get to where it says cream. Turn it on. And this is kind of neat how it does this. It will start to whip it or cream or whatever, and then when it senses it needs to go faster, it does it on its own. I will tell you, I have made bread and used the kneading on here, and boy, that has saved my hands. I really like that, and everything can be timed. It's got its own timer. You can add seconds or minutes to it. It's really nice. So we're going to go ahead and cream this for 2 minutes. In the meantime, here it just started going faster, and I can see the timer here, and I'll count it down. So what we're going to need: 4 cups of powdered sugar, vanilla extract, and I'm using a good quality orange. It's taken off like a jet plane. You're going to want to use half and half or whipping cream, and I've always used whipping cream. And we'll need a pinch of salt, and this is actually sea salt. So we've got about 30 seconds to go, and we'll turn this off. And you can pause this, which is really nice, and then it'll stay on the creaming section, I guess you'd call that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pause it. It automatically pauses. So like I said, I'm still learning, so if I act like I don't know what I'm doing with this, it's probably why. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put in 4 cups of powdered sugar. I really like this recipe. I've used this recipe for years. Oh, and I've made peanut butter too with this. Just add peanut butter to it. Just regular peanut butter. I use Jif. It comes out perfect every time. And everybody always likes these. This is a 4-cup measure. Okay. Get down, Duchess. We're just going to go and pour all of that in there. And I'm going to put this on low because, you know, you'll have a cloud. Okay. I had a thing, I forget what this is called, but it used to fit on my KitchenAid, and it kind of kept the flour or powdered sugar from making a cloud, and you could also put it in here, but this doesn't fit. This is a bigger bowl, so I can't use that. So we'll just kind of go slow here. Whoop. Well, you can see I have a mess. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on because I don't know how to reset it yet. I've read the instructions. There we go. I've got it on custom now. So that's going to make it to where it's not going to make a mess everywhere. And this is just going to combine your butter and your sugar. And to that, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of the heavy whipping cream. Two teaspoons, which cap here is a teaspoon, of vanilla extract. And then I'm also going to add a half a teaspoon of orange extract. Now this is Butler's brand. I got it from the Mennonites because I really do like their products over there. Okay. And that's a really nice orange. When I made that a couple weeks ago, everybody just loved that orange. I got orange, raspberry, coconut, and just a pinch of sugar. Pinch of salt. I'll have the directions for this recipe in my description box. And it's just mix it together. It's going to be a real sticky kind of filling, but once you put it in the fridge for about a half hour, it'll get to the point where you can handle it. And I'm going to use gloves because it is sticky. What I do whenever I use gloves and I'm using it on food like that, I always put these on and then wash my hands and rinse them. So I just feel like if there's anything on these clean gloves, I've washed them just like I'd washed my hands. And that's about it for now. It's all nice and creamed. Go ahead and pause that again. We'll go ahead and take it off of the stand here so you can see. Another thing too, I know KitchenAid also has these with a handle. Mine didn't come with it. But you see how stiff that is? That's what you want. And I have made 3, probably 4-inch eggs, maybe 2-inch tall, but 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches. Tripping over my words tonight, but with the one recipe. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. But because I'm going to make this orange, I'm going to put orange food coloring, which I have to go ahead and add red and yellow to make orange. And I just do this by sight. So just like maybe 3 drops of the yellow and 2 drops of red. And just drops, not like long streams. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just put this back on here. There's a lot of safety features on here. There's a little catch here where you have to press it up and down before you can lock this, and it stays locked. And then there's an off and on toggle switch back here too. So it is really nice. So now this is on pause. We're going to go ahead and let it mix together till we get that nice orange color. And I'll show that to you in a minute. Oh, it really smells good with that orange. Oh yeah, here it goes. It should start to speed up. Wow. 3 of my grandkids like orange, possibly 4. My one daughter wasn't sure. She said, go ahead and send him an orange and vanilla. Oh, yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay, well, that's done there. So let's go ahead and pause that again. And then I'll show you the color. Now, if you want this to be a deeper orange, go right ahead and add a little bit more red. I like it to be, whoops. Oh, yeah. That flew out and I had to taste it. Here we go. Look at that pretty orange color. I know it's kind of dark to see. Let's see if I can get the light there to. But that's a really nice orange. It looks a little pink on camera, but trust me, it is orange. So what I'm going to do is just kind of scrape down the sides, get it into that ball again. And I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap. And I'm going to put it in the fridge for about a half hour. And we will be back with our next step. In the meantime, you're going to want to melt your chocolate. And what I do is I have a mini crock pot that was given to me. It's a Pampered Chef, but I know that you can just get Walmart brand or on Amazon. But that's perfect for melting chocolate, in my opinion. I've done it in the microwave and on a double boiler. This, you just put it on warm, do it way ahead of time, and it's just there waiting for you, and it never hardens. I also add a little bit of coconut oil, just a little bit, maybe a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on how much I have in there. And I'm going to be using these 2 bags, so I'll just use a half a teaspoon. And that just gives it a little bit more fluid texture. So when you're dipping, it goes on there and you don't have to keep dipping. It's just really nice, and it stays shiny too. So let me go ahead and cover this and put it in the fridge, and we'll be back. Okay, so I've got my orange in the fridge hardening up a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to handle when you want to shape them, like I said earlier. So what I've got now is I went ahead and made the base like we did in a few minutes ago without putting the orange extract in there, but I did put vanilla, and I'm going to make this peanut butter buttercream. So what I do, and this is just what I have figured out myself, I get about that much peanut butter, which is probably about maybe a 1/4 cup, and I just go ahead and put it in there. My hands are clean, guys, so if you see me using my hands, they're clean. And I'm going to go ahead and just turn this on. It is still mixing up with the powdered sugar and everything. It hasn't gotten to the cream consistency yet. It's doing that all together with this peanut butter. So that's how I make the peanut butter buttercream. Now I'm going to put this in the fridge too. This keeps falling. I do apologize. My tripod is, I guess, sorry about that face. Anyway, so it's kind of a light brown, and it tastes wonderful. And I let it whip a little bit more than what it is. I can turn it up on this. So I've got that. I'm going to let it whip, mix really well. And then I'm going to put this on a piece of plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, and then I'll wash everything up, and we'll go ahead and we'll make the chocolate. I wanted to show you all these different flavors that you can make besides just adding extract, because I know peanut butter is really popular, and so is chocolate. Now, if you wanted to just do vanilla, of course, that's it. Vanilla is the base with the vanilla. If you want to do coconut cream, you use the vanilla base. I add coconut extract, and that's pretty powerful. So I usually start with a half a teaspoon of coconut extract and taste it. And if I think it needs a little bit more, I add a little bit more. And then I add the shredded coconut to that, so it has really nice texture. So this is done. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape the sides, put it on some plastic wrap, get everything cleaned up, and we'll come back and do chocolate. Okay, so here we are, and we're going to make our chocolate. So I've got that kind of halfway mixed up like I did before. And I'm going to take some cocoa powder. I use Hershey's cocoa. And I use about 2 heaping tablespoons in there. And I just put it right in there. And I've got this on custom, so it should be slow. And it'll just mix it up. And it'll be really a wonderful chocolate. Let's see if I can get it fixed here. There we go. Maybe it'll stay. I don't know what's wrong with that thing. I do apologize. I'll have it fixed before my next video. There we go. There. Okay. Now it'll speed up a little bit, and if I wanted to, I'll just turn this. Yeah. Now, if you want to make the cherry filling, which it really goes over well, but these grandkids don't like cherry. What I do is I use an almond extract, and I just put a little bit in because almond is really strong. But that is what you use for chocolate covered cherries. And then I take maraschino cherries, and I'll put a little teeny bit of the juice in there just to color your filling to a pink color. And then I'll dry the cherries off by themselves, and then I'll chop them up really fine. But if you want them in chunks, that's up to you too. I mean, they're not mushy, but they're pretty fine. And then I put them in there, and then I go ahead and form them into a cherry filling. And that really goes over well, especially with the chocolate. Oh, this looks good. Let me go ahead and pause it for a minute. And let's see, here we go. Got a little bit of that base, which is vanilla. Let me go ahead and scrape that down so it can get in there and work that chocolate into it. But this is the chocolate. Look at that. It's really good. It's very decadent. I don't think it's super sweet, especially when you've got dark chocolate as a to dip it in. But I'm going to go ahead and just let that whip for a couple more seconds, and we'll put it on plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, let it get to that stage where we can mold them. And then what we're going to do then, after we mold all of our egg fillings, we're going to pop them in the freezer for a couple hours, and then we'll bring them out and we'll dip them, because your chocolate is going to be hot or warm that you're melting, so you don't want these to be room temperature because it'll be a mess. Okay, I think that's good. We'll go ahead and get this ready to put in to the fridge. Oh, I just love making stuff like this. This is one of the joys for me, is to make goodies for my grandkids, even though some of them are adults now. It's always fun. And here is the chocolate. See if you can see that. I'm sorry about the way the light is. Yeah, but it is chocolate. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll be back in about a half hour when we can mold them, and I'll show you what to do there. Okay, guys, we are back. We've got our fillings, our buttercream fillings, nice and firm. And I am actually going to do the orange, chocolate, and vanilla first, and then I'll do the peanut butter last, because I do have some kids that have peanut allergies, so I'm going to do this one last. So I'll pop this one back in the fridge real fast because it is the softest. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you do have kiddos with peanut allergies, you need to do that last. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, got my gloves on like I said. I have got a cookie sheet over here with a silicone mat on it. If you don't have silicone, you can use parchment paper, and you want to line that. And you're going to take however much you want. I mean, if you don't want to make big eggs like I make, you can make small eggs. And you're going to just kind of roll it and shape it into the size of an egg. Let's see here. Sometimes they don't always come out to look like an egg, but I do the best I can. I got these at Hobby Lobby, and that's what I'm actually going to put the eggs in. And put them in plastic first, and then I'm going to put them in those. I thought that would be really cute for Easter. But we're just going to kind of shape it like that. More like a football maybe than an egg. But you can just, however you want to shape it, if you're a better shaper than I am. Once the chocolate, it's dipped in chocolate, it really does resemble an egg. So let me see here. I've got this one here too. This might make a little bit bigger one. I've got on my mat, I don't know if you can see my mat, but I've got my mat that I usually knead the bread on. And I have it on the opposite side, and I just have a little bit of powdered sugar down here, kind of like you're flouring your surface, just in case you need to roll. Yeah, I guess that one be about the same. And I'm going to save a little bit of this out to make little ones, because I like to kind of dip those in chocolate too and have them just so they have a little more than just the big egg. So this is about the size it's going to be. So that's that. And I'm just going to put these over here on my silicone mat. And then once I've got all these rolled out and shaped the way I want them, I'm going to put the whole cookie sheet in the freezer and let it freeze up to 2 hours. Well, 2 hours to up to overnight, rather, I should say. Which will probably be overnight tonight because it is getting late. I started this a little bit later than I had thought I was going to. I've got all my chocolate melted in the crock pot, and then I've got my white chocolate in the microwave, and I'll just go ahead and leave that like that. And let me just make this go down a little bit so you can really kind of see what I'm doing. And I tightened it up earlier. Now I want to make it come down, and I'll just pull that back. There we go. Okay. But I'll just leave my chocolate in the containers, put them in the microwave. Put it in the fridge tonight, and then we'll warm it up in the morning. Now you're going to find some of these, even though it's the same recipe for all of them, when you add different extracts or like chocolate or the peanut butter, it does loosen it up a little bit. It's going to be a little bit softer. When this is vanilla, this is actually the base. And it's a little bit softer. But like I said, once it's in the chocolate, dipped in the chocolate, it will look like a nice little egg. And you're going to decorate it. I'll show you how to do that tomorrow when we get to that point. I really think they're nice. Everybody always likes them. You just kind of have to roll them. There we go. And just put them there. This is the fun part for me. I like to be creative. Okay, and next is chocolate. Now with the chocolate, I wanted to tell you, when you're making the chocolate, now I put 2 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of the cocoa powder in there, but you want to taste that chocolate and make sure that it's to the your liking. I did end up adding a little bit more cocoa powder, and I think it was another tablespoon, and then I added a little teeny bit of coffee, probably just a half a teaspoon, because coffee does enhance the chocolate flavor. So I did that, and you can see it's a deeper, richer chocolate color and flavor. And I was really happy with that. And any of these, when you're adding your extracts, go ahead and just taste it. It doesn't have to be a ton, to eat, but if you want to, you can. But just go ahead and taste it and just make sure it's to the liking that you, or the flavor, the amount of flavor that you like and you think whoever you're giving them to or would like. Because everybody's taste is a little bit different. All right, there's the chocolate. Got these little ones out. So each one of these little ones that I have, I'll dip. And it's just kind of a little bit extra for everybody to have. When we had our Easter celebration a couple weeks ago, I made all of these with the peanut butter, which really went over well. Okay, let me grab that peanut butter out of the fridge. Now I'm going to put the peanut butter on a different cookie sheet. Let me just grab what I'm going to use here. Of course, let me see. Oh, there it is. I was wondering where my little one went to. I have a small silicone, because I really do want these to be different. My one granddaughter has peanut allergies, and nothing of peanut butter is going to hers, but since I'm making them, and then everything will be washed really well. I won't be using any of this tomorrow. But one of my grandsons likes peanut butter, so that is what he's going to get, is peanut butter. Oh, and it smells so good. I don't know if you've ever had peanut butter buttercream, but it is yummy. It's not too rich. Like I said, I only used about maybe a little bit less than a quarter cup of Jif, just regular peanut butter. If you wanted to use crunchy, you could use crunchy. It's just up to you. Whatever you think you'd like to use. All right, go ahead and make these. I'm kind of making these maybe in little balls more so than egg shape. That's a little bit better. I'm really excited to show you what they're going to look like after we dip them, because I just think they're so cute. And it's just a really good memory for me. The ladies at church used to make them, and they'd sell them for $1. And $1 in the 70s was kind of a lot of money, believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe, but I mean, we're talking 50-some years ago now. One of my friends just sent me a reel about all the songs that are turning 50 this year. I mean, that's in 1975, 50. I was 16 years old. Goodness gracious. I don't know whether I should be happy that I know the songs or cry that they're 50 years old. Okay, guys, well, this is it for this part of the recipe. I'm going to go ahead and pop all these in the freezer just like they are, and I'll see you in the morning. Hey, guys, good morning. We are back with our eggs that we're going to dip. Remember, we put these in the freezer overnight. I've got my chocolate here to dip. I've got my white chocolate here to decorate with, and my sprinkles. And let me go ahead and put this down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. Here. All right. All righty. So what I do, I've got my chocolate here, and I did add a little bit more of the coconut oil because it makes it real nice and fluid. Okay, so I'm going to start with a chocolate egg, and I do have my gloves on. You don't have to, but because this is really sticky, I like to do that. So I just go ahead and I put that egg in there, let it drip, and put it back here on the either parchment paper or the silicone. And I just do each one of these until they are nice and covered. Usually with this, it just takes one roll in the delicious chocolate. And it doesn't take long for this to harden. You can let it harden at room temperature, or you can put it back in the fridge, which is what I'm going to do because I'm kind of in a time crunch because I want to get these done and in the mail today before the post office closes at 11:45. So I've got about 3 hours before that happens. Okay. They really look good. They've got a pretty good shine on them. And I think they're really good. I know they might be full of sugar and sweetness, but they're also full of love. That's my excuse anyway. And I am doing the peanut butter last, of course, because my one granddaughter that's got the allergy. I mean, I know everybody knows about allergies, those peanut allergies now. There's nothing to play with. So everything that we do with that, we make sure that we wash everything really well afterwards. She's never had anaphylactic shock or anything that I know of. And the doctor has her, she has an EpiPen and Benadryl on standby. But we try to be really cautious. You don't want anything. Then I have a son-in-law also that has a nut allergy, tree nut allergy, but he's not allergic to peanuts. But he's allergic to shellfish. So, but anyway, these are done. We'll go ahead and set those aside. Oh, make sure I got one more in there. Okay. These are just my little ones that I just made, just for little chocolates. Make sure. Okay. Let me go ahead and put these in the fridge real fast. Without dropping anything, hopefully. All right, hold on. I'll be right back on camera. All right, now here's peanut butter. Okay. And peanut butter will do exactly the same. And then if I have any of this chocolate left over, I just dispose of it. I mean, we're not allergic to peanuts, but there probably won't be enough left here anyway. But I do try to be cautious. I don't get to see the kids, grandkids that often because most of them, they're all growing up now. But they're still grandkids. They're still my babies. And they do get to come out and visit once in a while. They're all over the United States, like I was saying. So, all right, we'll get them in there. Peanut butter's nice and covered. Now, that one didn't want to behave. Okay. So what are you guys doing for Easter? We basically have already celebrated with family. We are going to go to church if Willis gets home in time. And then we are going to celebrate Easter with a little dinner. And I think we're going to go fishing. That's just what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the fridge too. Go ahead and take these off. As you can see, it is kind of messy. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to use gloves or not. I choose to. But I will be back in just a couple minutes for you. Probably a half hour for me just to get these nice and hard, and then we'll decorate. Okay, guys. We have got our coated eggs. And I've got them all where I know where they are. That's one thing you got to remember with doing multiple fillings, what they are. Now, I don't have my gloves on this time because I'm not going to be using them. But what I'm going to do now is, but my hands are clean, I'm going to take my white chocolate. Now, I've got them on a cooling rack, and I've got something underneath because I'm just going to go ahead and use this with a fork and just kind of do like this. I just love that look. Just the little white chocolate that goes on there. If you wanted to make this different colors, like pastel colors for Easter or whatever, just go ahead and use some food coloring. That would be pretty too. But since I'm using pastel sprinkles, which I need to do pretty quick, because that white chocolate hardens pretty fast. You want to, that's one thing I did have to learn, was get my sprinkles on pretty fast. Otherwise, you're going to be pressing them down on there. But I think that looks so pretty with the sprinkles and the white chocolate. Now, if you want to go back over again, you can, and just, you know, go sideways lightly with this, just to kind of give it a little decoration. That's all up to you. And now I'm just going to do my little eggs here. And I'm going to put little sprinkles on top of them too. But this is just something that's kind of a tradition for us for Easter to make. I talked to my mom today and she said, what are you doing today? I said, I'm going to finish up those eggs. She's like, oh yeah. I said, I got to get them in the mail. Okay. So there are those eggs. And that is basically what I do. I think they're really pretty. The kids love them. And let me see if you can see. Now, if you notice, there's where the chocolate kind of made a little foot when it was dripping, you can go ahead and just cut that off with a sharp knife. I will do that before I package them. But what I'm going to do is use one of these eggs. It unscrews. Of course, it didn't want to unscrew for me. No, I don't want to use that one. Oh, geez. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it unscrews. So I'm going to go ahead and put some Easter grass in there. Easter grass in the bottom of each one of these. Boy, that was some tough plastic. Okay, it always makes a mess with this Easter grass. Let me go ahead and put that up there so you can see. Easter grass right there. And then once this is solid, it's not quite solid, I'll just go ahead and stick the egg in like this. Put a few little jelly beans around it just to give it a little bit more festive look. And of course I have to try out the jelly beans because I love them. And then I'll add a little bit of these little ones here. I'm not going to worry about what flavors they are because these guys here, they don't have any allergies. So that's what I'm going to do. And then after that, I put my egg in there. I seal it back up. I found these at Hobby Lobby too. I thought they were darling. They're just kind of like lunch sacks. That's what I would call them. And they have little jelly beans printed all over. And I'll put them in here and fold it back and tape it so it's pretty solid, so it's not going to shake a lot during shipping, because that's my biggest fear. That's why I wanted to make sure it was going to be pretty stabilized inside of here, and it'll be stabilized, and then I'll put it in a box and get them in the mail. And I also have some bluegrass, Easter grass. And maybe my knife is not very sharp. There we go. Wow. I washed these and put them back together. It might be my hands though. With my arthritis, I have a hard time. There we go. That one came apart. So I'll put some bluegrass in here. Bluegrass. That was funny. Anyway, we'll put that in there. It always makes a mess, like I said, but that's okay. Oh, and if you have enough white chocolate left, you can always freeze it. I do that because I'm not, dunking anything in that. But if you want, I will tell you this, now that I said that, you can go ahead and you can actually dunk some of your chocolates in there if you want to make them like tuxedo. That's what I always call it, black and white. But I'm not going to do that this time since I've got the white on there already. Okay, let's see. Anybody is nicely hardened. You get my little cutting board here. Willis always laughs at me when I use that. I said, hey, it comes in handy when you have little things. Okay, let me see what this one is. This is orange. So I'm just going to kind of go around the bottom and just cut those feet off. That's what I call them. It's easier to do it now when it's hardened. Yeah, they come off nicely. Okay, and that's an orange one. I'll just go ahead and stick it in there like so. And I'll put a few little jelly beans around it. And this also kind of stabilizes it in there. Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and put this on. Let me go ahead and put some more grass on the top. There we go. Now you guys, what I did before was not really worry about it because I was giving them to people that were coming. But we're just going to go ahead and do that and then screw that on there. Doesn't even hardly shake. So there you go. That's an orange one. So I need to make sure I have all them separated. If you were just going to have them at your house, you could just go to Dollar General or Walmart and get the baggies that are like candy bags. Oh, here they are. Like this, the candy bags, and just put them in there and tie the ends up with a little decorative tie. That's always cute too. But anyway, guys, that is my Easter eggs that I'm going to give my grandchildren and send them today. Hope you'll enjoy this. Maybe you'll give it a try. Hope you'll like, share, and subscribe. And have a wonderful Easter. And He is risen. Amen. Have a great day.